Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. I do truly appreciate it. It's a cool day. It's a special day because Suntup Editions has delivered. I had a box in the mailbox. It's a Suntup book, and I got to get that mother out. So it is exciting because I love getting stuff from Suntup Editions. One of my favorite publishers walking God's green earth. And this is a good book that I'm excited to get. Winterset Hollow by Jonathan Edward Durham. Ever hear of it? Well, I read the book, honestly, because I heard a rumor that it was going to be published. So once I figured out this was coming, I figured I'd better read it. And I'll get to what I thought about the book in a little bit here. But I want to see what she looked like, because I paid some dough. This is the classic edition. And the classic edition, for those of you who may or may not be familiar with Suntup editions, traditionally they'll do 3 different editions of a book. They'll do a lettered, which I'm not a lettered guy, just because of money, but they'll do a numbered edition, and that's where I typically target. That's my area there. And then they'll do an artist edition. And an artist edition is a more common type of limited edition books. Quality, Smithsonian binding, cloth covered boards with a dust jacket, what you typically will get nowadays on modern publishings. Well, they were signed by the artist, an artist edition. Limited editions anywhere from 500 to 1,000. I think there's 1 or 2 that might be even less than 500. But they would be signed by the artist, and many times the author would be deceased, so you're not going to get an author's signature anyway. Well, you'd have some books with living authors. They would sign the numbered and lettered editions, but the artist editions wouldn't be signed by the author. And some folks don't like that. You want the author to sign your book. Well, Suntup Editions, I think they listened. And quite often now, when the author is living, they will have the author sign their lowest tier, which is still better than almost everybody else's numbered edition. And they call it, instead of an artist edition, they call it classic edition. For Winterset Hollow, we get a classic edition, lettered, numbered, and the classic. And the classic is limited to 500 copies, signed by the author and the artist. So it's win-win. Exciting stuff. And I'm ready to get it out, take it out, and see what she look like. Typical Suntup Edition stuff. When I buy a book, I want it in a box. Suntup Editions hooks a brother up like that. They go above and beyond. It is covered in foam on top. Form-fitted foam around. Good stuff. This packaging will take a licking and keep on ticking. They'll get me the stuff in the condition that I expect with my limited edition books. Another neat, interesting thing with Suntup Editions that I do appreciate, that is the custom bookmark featuring artwork, in this case, artwork illustrated by Moreau O'Connor, who did 7 color interior illustrations and the dust jacket artwork and such for Winterset Hollow. Tremendous artwork. Looks good. Glad to have it. Put that over here. And now to the book itself. So you can see that form-fitted foam above and beyond to make sure my stuff gets to me in fine condition. Beautiful. And so they're artist/classic editions come wrapped in shrink wrap. They're numbered editions come in a bag that's folded over and taped. But I don't leave my books in shrink wrap. Some people do. I like to get it out, take the shrink wrap out. So what I'm doing right now gives people pause sometimes. They get a little nervous having sharp instruments so close to their precious items, their collectible stuff. But it doesn't bother me at all because I have a trick. I have a trick that never fails. Yeah, I'll tell you. So what I do is with my knife, I cut the plastic, not the book. Works every time. There you go. Anyway, let me take it out of the plastic. And let's first of all look at our slipcase. Now, their website said that it is an embossed paper slipcase, paper covered slipcase, and it feels more like a fabric. It feels like it's wrapped in something, almost textured like a fabric, and not sticky, but I can kind of feel almost sticky. My fingers don't want to slide, so it's not sticky like gooey, but you look at the texture there, it sure doesn't look or feel like paper. But Suntup Editions always hooks us up with these nice slip cases, and you see here on the back labeled, nice foil blocking on the label there. I love it. I love the slip cases, and this, for me, the classic editions, this is one of the things that sets them apart above and beyond people that publish books similar like this. Some of them charge considerably more than Suntup Editions, and they don't give you as much art. They don't give you the slipcase. So Suntup Editions Artist / Classic Edition may be one of the best values in the book collecting world, the quality book collecting world. All the stuff you get at that price, there are other publishers that give you less for more. I prefer more for less. That's typically the way I go. But here is our dust jacket, the front cover, and you can see some of the characters in here already. We've got Runny Rabbit, Finn the Fox, Flackwell the Toad, and the Builder Bear, all in the cover there, so you can see there. And then the spine. This is what it'll look like on my shelf. Just imagine it's inside the slipcase. And one of the neat things about the Suntup Edition slipcases is they take care of the people who put their books on the shelves the wrong way. So you put your book on the shelf the wrong way. Just kidding. Whatever you want to do is the right way. Anyway, they put their books on the shelves like that to help protect spine, whatever the case may be. You see a nice label. You see what the book is. And it looks better for that. But I put mine on the shelf like this. You can see the spine of the book. The art wraps around to the back. And I'll take this dust jacket off so you can see a little bit more of what it looks like all stretched out. You can see that Moreau O'Connor artwork there. It does look good. It looks great. So here is our book. And the book is got the same type of material. I would normally say cloth covered board. And I'll just stick with that. That's the material. And you get that foil blocking on the front cover, on the spine. Their books would look great on the shelf with no dust jacket at all. And that's one of the cool things about Suntup's classic / artist editions. It's quality all the way through. All the way through. And wow. I say wow because I'm not expecting this. When I look at these end papers, it feels like the same kind of stuff. Is that embossed paper? Am I just a fool and don't know the difference between embossed paper and cloth? And maybe I am. But anyway, that it's hard to see the texture there on those end papers, but it feels cool and it looks cool. The interior illustrations in this book, I think there are 7, and there you can see our frontispiece. And this book is printed offset on Cougar natural paper, and so I'll show you a little bit about what that looks like. And you can see the paper color. It's not a bright stark white. It's got a little bit of a creamy color to it. And there's our text. There's what it looks like. Yeah, and it looks like that throughout. So there you go. What I want to do now is I'll skip all the way to the back. I want to look and see. I want to see my signature page. I like signed books. To me, signed is always better. Signed by the author whenever possible is a goal I tend to achieve. I tend to want to achieve. And this one is signed by Jonathan Edward Durham. A beautiful signature, as well as Moreau O'Connor. And there is our signature page, the colophon page I've heard it referred to as. Those are just words. Words. Anyway, there are 500 of these, but the classic and artist editions, while they are limited editions, they're not individually numbered. So they'll tell you there's 500 copies. Limited to 500 copies, it says right here, signed by the author and artist. The text is Mark Van Bronckhorst's Verdigris Pro. Frederick Ward's Erigi ornaments were digitized from the metal type by Michael Babcock, who designed the interior typography. So there you have it. What I'd like to show you right now are the interior illustrations. I said that I think there are 7 of them. So here, let me try to find them all for you and show you this story. This story, while I'm showing you these pictures, I'll kind of talk through it a little bit. We've got 3 friends who read this book, who are 2 of them are big fans, lovers of this story, this child's fairy tale type of a story. And it's written by a guy who was an aristocrat, and it's said that he wrote this book on this island. So this special day in the folklore, in the lore of the book, this special day, Barley Day, they go to Addington Isle to hope to see something to celebrate this occasion. One of them is not too interested in the book, but he's got a girlfriend that goes along with it. So Mark, his girlfriend, Carolyn is a big fan, as well as Eamon, the main character. And they go to this island. Man, this artwork is fabulous. They go to this island on this special day, and they get more than they bargained for. And at first, it's amazing. It's boggles the mind. So special, so wonderful. They cannot believe their fortune. But as it sometimes does, fortune turns, and this becomes more, it goes from a fairy tale come to life to a horror story. And then we find out the motivations, that the stories were all true, just the perspective was wrong. We find out that there's more to this happenstance sort of event than meets the eye. And it goes, there was a point in this book, I'd say halfway through this book, I actually told my wife this. I was reading, I went in the other room. I said, I may be reading the greatest book that I've ever read in my entire life. At this point, I think this book is the best I've ever read. The next day I told her, it's still maybe the best book I've ever read. I don't know. But unfortunately for me, now I still like the book. For me, unfortunately, I started being less happy with it as it went. And I'll tell you, I'll just tell you some of the stuff that I didn't like about it. Many stories will have a point where a character, a central main character, will be in an unwinnable situation. There is no escape. There's no way out. And some miracle, 1 in a million thing will happen. Maybe not something they do. Just something that happens. A miracle happens. And the day is saved. Well, I don't like that. But I expect that in stories, in books, in movies. It happens. And usually when it happens once, I can just deal with it. It's part of storytelling. 1 in a million chance. But when it happens over and over again, I don't like it. So that'd be my knock on this book. It happened more times than I liked. But that being said, overall, I really love this book. This is a book I'm probably going to read again. They create a world for me, characters for me. It's transforming, takes me there, transports me to this scene, this setting. I'm there. I feel it. I see it. I smell it. I hear it. I'm there. A great book, and one that I would like more like this. I don't know if you can take this world any further, but if somebody said, hey, there's a book out there that's a lot like this, guess what? I'm going to read it. So I really like the book. I'm glad to have it in my collection, glad to have it on my shelf. Sometimes I'll tell you the things that I don't love. Doesn't mean I don't love the book. It's just the part that would take this from being perhaps the greatest book I ever read to a book that I liked a lot. And that's what happened. So when I started reading it, I'm thinking, I can't believe what I'm doing. I can't believe what I'm reading. I may be reading the greatest book of all time, the book that I love more than any other. This may have surpassed my other favorites. And it held that position for a little while. And then slowly it started to lose that position. Okay. My favorite books, one was written in the 50s, one was written in the 80s. So a lot of books have not lived up to those standard that those two have set for me as a fan. But this one is a great one for the collection. I've got the numbered edition coming too. Can't wait to get my grubby mitts on that one. I'm glad to have this one. Glad to have a book signed by the author. So Suntup Editions, thank you for, I'd say, listening. Thank you for listening. I'm glad that this book is signed by the author. To me, that makes it more special, makes it more important to me. Signatures matter. Signed is better, in my opinion. So, very glad that it is what it is. With that being said, I can think of no more lies to tell. So, thank you for your time. I do truly appreciate it. And say la vie, baby. Doo-doo.